Today began with a very, very beautiful message from someone who has seen my journey for many years before I was here in Ireland, after I moved to Ireland, and who has very silently, quietly in the background been following my journey. And uh, his name is Pradeep, and Pradeep made me realize today that how much every single effort that I'm putting in my life for everything that I believe in and everything that I share is being heard, seen, and is having an impact on people that I'm not even aware are actually listening to me or reading what I'm writing and are taking inspiration from me. And that feels like a heavy that feels very good, but it also feels a little bit heavy because it makes me think that I can't make a mistake. I can't fail. I cannot disappoint. Nonetheless, I have failed, I have disappointed, I have made mistakes, and it's a beautiful transformation that is happening because I'm learning and realizing that that is how I am human. By doing all of those things, my mistakes, my failures, all of that makes me human. I think trust is a currency that I'm learning to invest very wisely now. For someone um, who shares her thoughts and her journey and the evolution, the growth that happens, the phases that happens through this journey. I have learned, and I always was very trusting of this universe, very trusting of life. And now I'm learning how to invest my trust more wisely, which means that if my gut, if my nervous system says no, it's a no. And even if my mind or my heart wants to make excuses for it, it is still a no. And I used to say that I want to assimilate different parts of myself, right? Like when we look at the wheel of life, for any of you who would have done the wheel of life and who's either had coaching or been trained as a coach, you know what the wheel of life is. So I would look at all different cogs of the wheel and think that I need to assimilate them. I need to find some kind of coherence or coexistence between all of them for them to be at a stage where there is a balance. I have been striving for this balance for the last 2 years. And honestly, anybody who knows my humor, it makes me laugh to think that I lost my balance and I broke such an important bone in my body. But I think that it was required. Perhaps a physical injury like that makes you sit down with yourself and it makes you look at your own self in the light and the shadow, and it makes you realize that you do not have different selves. There is no self that is different. Like, from the person who is at work is the same person who is at home, is the same person who is with the family, is the same person who I am when I'm alone, is the same person who is traveling. It is the same person. Yes, there are various degrees of like priorities and emotions and thoughts that will go up and down, but at the end of the day, you are the same person. And that assimilation or that balance perhaps is about who do I trust, how much do I invest myself in a person, in a idea, in a project, what is my non-negotiable, so how can I build a stronger relationship with my gut to be able to listen to it when it's saying no and then to say no, and how much of my energy do I want to invest in anything outside of me versus how much do I want to invest inside of me. So how much do I want to go deeper within myself and how much do I want to go outside of myself and explore and expose myself mm, to anything, right? I think that that balance is what is perhaps the step that I'm trying to take in life, and understanding that that is a better, more holistic way of living than to have to assimilate different parts of myself as different selves within oneself. I loosely will say that this goes back to Carl Jung's, like, psychology, and like everything that he has shared is a part of the foundations that have been built for modern psychology, the shadow self and your again, I'm saying this loosely because I've not done that much research and I wouldn't be well versed with all the semantics, but it is the concept of your dark and your light self, the balance between them. So how much of your outer life is taking precedence, how much of your inner life. And genuinely today I was feeling this happiness because when I read those messages, it reminded me of what is important for me and what has always been important for me. And it made me reflect that I have actually stayed true to the values and what was important for me. That I know who I am since the very early years of my life and what was shaping me. And anything that I have been thinking as my mistakes, or that I have been hard on myself for, I'm realizing that those were parts and journeys of my life where I was trying to change and evolve and learn in a tough way to come back to my true nature and accept my true nature exactly as it is. So I have now realized, especially this year, through many experiences that were totally unexpected and uncalled for, and all the emotions that I saw rising in me, every feeling that I was feeling. And I really feel like I'm such a brave person to have allowed myself to feel all of that instead of suppressing it. I mean, I don't, to be honest, that is my nature. So I don't even know how to be otherwise. I don't know how other people suppress what they are feeling, how other people just nod heads or go along with what would please somebody else, because it's not my nature. So going through that entire journey has made me realize that the more I create space for my true nature to come out, the more it actually comes out and is happy and is I'm radiating like positive energy. The universe is in sync. Things happen even in the smallest of things, they fall into place. And nobody, not even my own mom, nobody outside of me. And I keep mentioning my mom because I don't think that anybody else would know you as much as your mother, because she's the one who has given you birth. Nobody would know that the synchronicities that happen. Nobody would know what my true nature is, and only I know, and I have to accept it. And irrespective of how it would look outside, because as long as I'm fighting this battle inside of myself of who I am versus who I'm meant to be versus who I'm supposed to be versus who I'm expected to be, I am just making myself suffer through a life which truly, honestly, touch wood, God has given a lot of blessings in. So I would rather offend as many people as I should, and I would rather say no as many times as I should, and I would rather, like, let the record set straight as many times as it is required to, and still have love and empathy in my heart, still have a softness in my heart, rather than keep on making excuses, and rather than keeping on questioning myself. So yeah, it's so refreshing to learn this. Perhaps this is what they say, that when you come in your 30s, you just like things start to fall in place and it makes sense, like who you are. The fundamental questions that you're asking yourself start answering themselves in beautiful, mysterious, and synchronized ways. So that's the best thing about, like, allowing yourself to be yourself, is things will start falling into place. So just do that, create that space for yourself.